Today, we're going to take a look at the ALTRA TORIN 4.5 and the 50-mile review for this shoe. How's it going, runners? My name is Justin Thompson. I'm your average running PT. I help the average runner achieve their own personal elite status. If that's something you guys are into, then go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you guys know when the next video comes out. Now, before we get into the shoe review, I did do a run this morning. This was my anaerobic run for the week. If you guys have been following me, you know that I've been doing a lot of base training recently, but I've started to gently add in a little bit of anaerobic work. So today's run was my anaerobic run for the week, and I did 4 by 3 minutes at CV pace, which for me is about a 6:35 per mile pace, and I did pretty well with that. And then also did 4 by 15-second strides after that with a 10-minute warm-up and cool down, and felt pretty good. So I think things are going well there. Back to base level training for the rest of the week. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Now let's get into the ALTRA TORIN 4.5. So this shoe, I did an initial run review on this, and I had some pros and cons with it. So it's not a perfect shoe, and I still feel that way. It's definitely not a perfect shoe. But let's get into some of the specs. So on my first run review, I think some of the specs were a little bit off. I'd used Running Warehouse as my source for my specs, but this time I went and looked on Altra's website, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy, so I wanted to make sure that I was using the right information. So I used Altra's information, and for them, they said that in a men's size 9, this is 9.1 ounces or 258 grams. It's also got a 28 millimeter stack height, which on Running Warehouse it says 21. Obviously, there's a big difference there. So I believe that it's 28. I think that there's plenty of cushioning in here for sure. And of course, Altra is known for their zero drops, so it's 28 in the front, 28 in the back. Altra has their foot-shaped toe box, which I really love. As a physical therapist, I love when the foot can act as naturally as possible. They use this foot pod technology on the outsole, which at my first run review, I really love that. Let me tell you a little bit more about that here in just a minute, whether I still love it or not. They have the Quantic midsole and a, quote, breathable mesh upper. So let's break this shoe down a little bit more. Let's start with the upper. So it says a breathable mesh, and I'm going to go ahead and scratch through the breathable part of that, because and I said the same thing at the first run. It felt like it wasn't all that breathable, and it really wasn't. Within 30 minutes, I definitely felt like my foot was getting warm. I think it would be a great shoe for running in the winter, because it's not breathable at all. It really does feel like it gets pretty warm in there. I don't see any reason why they would be calling this breathable, because I mean, the weave is really pretty tight, and I don't see how any air can get through there. But I definitely felt like it was a little bit warm for me, especially here in Florida. Getting up into the 3-mile range, 5K range, it was when I would really start to kind of feel it. So it really wasn't, I couldn't run much longer than a half an hour before I started feeling like this was heating up on me. For the Quantic midsole, I feel kind of the same as I did at the initial run. It was not responsive, but not dead either. Like, I didn't feel like it was just sucking me in and wasn't giving me any energy back, but it certainly wasn't like a hyper burst or anything of that sort. So I didn't feel like it was providing a ton of extra help in getting me through my gait cycle. But it did the job of a recovery shoe. It protected my legs, protected my feet, and I feel like it was really good at that. And I don't know what Altra designed this particular shoe for. If it was designed just as a recovery shoe, or if it was designed with other purposes in mind. But I think as a recovery shoe, it works really well. Also, the midsole feels about the same now at 50 miles as it did at that first run. When I first put it on, it has that plush kind of a feeling, and then that plush feeling goes away after about a mile or so. But then it's just a nice, comfortable ride. So, about the same kind of opinion as I had on my first run for the midsole on the shoe. For the FootPod outsole, well, it's still pretty grippy. Okay, so I really kind of praised it at the beginning for how grippy it was. I was even trying to slip and slide on certain wet areas, like in the grass, on the pavement. I was trying to do a little bit more of that today, or not today, but yesterday on my last run. But I really couldn't slide around too much. It just wouldn't allow it. And there is a lot of rubber on the bottom of this, so I really feel like this rubber is going to last quite a long time. At 50 miles, I see very, very little signs of wear and tear on the rubber in the shoe. If any at all, it is right under my big toe, which is really, really normal for all of my shoes. So, but it's minimal at most. I think the combination of outsole and midsole will make this shoe last quite a long time, which is good. I'm probably going to take this into kind of winter running and use it as a base training shoe in winter running. Of course, with the zero drop, I'm going to be careful with how many miles that I actually put in it. I'm probably not going to go over 7 or 8 miles in a zero drop shoe. That's just my preference. I just want to protect my Achilles tendons as much as possible. Yeah, I want them to stretch out, but I don't want them to be overworked either. So my overall impression after 50 miles is that I will wear this right now as a recovery run shoe where I'm running like 30 minutes, maybe 45. But it's going to be hard to kind of deal with the breathable mesh upper, because it's just not that breathable. So, and here in Florida, it's hot, it's sticky, it's muggy, it's terrible. So I need something that I can breathe in. However, I do love the ride and the feel of the shoe as a recovery run, so I might be able to deal with feet being a little bit warm for those shorter runs. Now, once it gets cooler in the fall, in the winter here in Florida, it doesn't really get cool in the fall, but in the winter, once it starts to get cooler again, I'm probably going to bring these out as more of a daily trainer, where I'll get up into the 7-8 mile range for this shoe, because I do love the way that it actually rides and the way that it actually feels when it's on my foot, as long as it's cool enough to get through this breathable mesh upper and cool off my feet. So that's it for today. Quick look at the ALTRA TORIN 4.5 PLUSH. So if you guys are interested in this shoe, I do have a link down in the description below. Go ahead and take a look at that. And if you guys have any other questions or concerns about this shoe, then go ahead, reach out to me, let me know down in the comments, or my email address is in the About section of my home page. So if you want to reach out via email, you can do that as well. So head on out there, seek your elite. God bless, and I'll see you next time.